Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we're reviewing the Tonic Super Trimmer, and it really is super, y'all. I'll have to show you all the features. I know you're thinking this should be on your Product Parade channel, but I've heard you guys. You've asked me to keep everything in one place so you don't have to subscribe in two locations and look for my videos in two locations. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring these back to our channel here so you can always find them. So for our review today, the Super Trimmer, let me show you it in its packaging because I think it is really, really nice. Look at this package. This is how it'll come to you. We'll talk about what you get here. You get two blade housings and one scoring blade. Scoring blade? I guess so, scoring blade housing. It does a cool thing for my left-hand friends. If you're a left-hander, you're going to like this. And it has a really cool way to get very accurate measuring, which we're going to talk about in a second. So let me show you the one that's out of the package. This is the one that I've been playing with and I really like. So my favorite feature of the whole thing is what they've done for left-handers, okay? My husband is left-handed, my mother is left-handed, so I know the struggle. Look what they've done. I'm going to flip this over and show you. There is a flip-out arm at the top, just like you're used to on most other trimmers, but look at the bottom. There is also a flip-out arm on the bottom. Now, I may just be living in the dark ages and don't realize this is a thing with a lot of trimmers. It's not with my current trimmer. Because this does this, you can be right-handed or left-handed and use this product. So you can see here at the top, this is like I usually use my trimmer. I put my paper to this side and I measure this way because I'm right-handed. I cut this way. But if I'm left-handed, because it gave me that second arm, I can now use this trimmer just like a right-handed person does, but on the left-hand side. So I've watched my mother struggle so hard trying to flip my trimmer over and cut it from the bottom. And the only reason it's really hard is because I'm showing her how to use it. And as a right-handed person, that makes things difficult. So if you've watched my videos, you might feel the same way. This may change things for you left-handed out there. So I love that. Now, you don't have to open both of these arms. I just opened them to show you. Since I'm right-handed, I'm going to close this one down, and we're going to talk about the trimmer the way I'm used to, but just know you have that option. Now, the other thing I really like about this guy is this little piece right here, which is on both ends of your trimmer. It's a little loop piece on both ends. And what happens is you now can use this to lift your trimmer arm. You saw that, didn't you? It's opposite. It's backwards of what we're used to opening. If you use the same trimmer that I currently use, you're probably used to the fact that your door opens this way or your little blade housing opens this way. On this one, it opens this way, which I'm going to have to get used to, but I think it won't take me long because it'll be nice to put my paper in from the right-hand side the way I'm used to using it anyway. Okay, so there's that. Now let's talk about the rulers, because for a lot of you, this is a feature that makes or breaks a product. The first thing I want to point out is that the rulers are very easily read. Do you see that they've done a navy on a pale gray, which means you can read every single tick mark. I'm looking in my camera and I can see every tick mark on the camera, where in the past, you might not have been able to see that as easy. Let me bring this up and show you. You also get metric and imperial. I hope I said that right. I feel like I did, but we get both measurements, if that makes any sense. So I love how easy it is to read this particular ruler at the top. Now, another thing I like is your ruler goes from 2 inches to the right of your blade housing there, and it goes 12.5 inches out. I typically don't need more than 12.5 inches. I'm a card maker, a scrapbooker, right? I'm gonna use 12-inch cardstock. So this gives me plenty of room here. But now let me show you this, because before I close it, I want to point one more thing out to you. They did some cool little measures for us, or some marks for us. See this double arrow? Notice that it's marking 8.5, because that's the standard cardstock that we use here in America is an 8.5 by 11. So it's showing you where the 8.5 mark is. Then, even better, if you look in here, you see these little tick marks that are going down like little stitch lines. There's 2 of them, right? They go all the way down the trimmer, and they mark your 4.25 mark and your 5.5 mark. So A2 card makers, how cool is that? You know, this is your 4.25 mark if you're doing a tall card base, and you know this is your 5.5 mark if you're doing a landscape cut on a card base. I love that. I'm going to show you why in a second. All right, I'm going to close this up and show you another feature. So notice that you have a ruler at the top and a ruler in the middle. This is so good for those of you that struggle getting very straight cuts. Let me get a full sheet of paper so I can show you, or at least a big piece of paper. So I'm going to open up the little thingy, put my paper in. Now, for those of you who struggle getting very straight cuts, here's what I love. Let's say I wanted to cut this to 4 1/4. I can go to my little stitch line right here, and I can line this up on the stitch line all the way down, but I can also see my ruler at the bottom, okay? So I'm seeing it at the top, and I'm also seeing it at the bottom. And something I'm noticing is this piece of paper is not cut super straight from the get-go. Like, I'm noticing that right now. So I'm going to trim it. Let's put it right here and trim a little bit off so I can get it good and straight. And now I'm going to take it back so we can look at it again. So now I can take it to that 4 1/4 mark, and now it is straighter. I can see now that my line is correct. Do you see that? And I can follow it all the way down to this ruler. So if I ever struggle with making cuts, let's say I want to do a 5-inch cut, I'm lining up at the top. I'm also lining it up at the bottom so I can see that I'm at 5 inches, so I know I'm getting a much straighter cut that way. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yes, you've had those grids before, but having this easy to read ruler in the middle is going to come in handy. Okay, now let's talk about cutting. Notice here I can go out to 2 inches, full 2 inches all the way out on this side, which I really like. Because if you know me at all, I tend to cut my smaller cuts on this side of the blade, so I'm glad I still have that option. But on this side of the blade, something I'm super happy about is that I don't have to open my arms out of my trimmer to cut my basic card sizes, because this cut bed goes to 6 1/2 inches. So I'm going to be able to do A2, 6 by 6, anything in between, even my 5 by 7s, except for my length, you know, and I'm doing like a 10-inch piece of paper or 11 1/2 piece of paper. I still won't have to open up for very many sizes. And you know, for me, I typically like a card base that's cut long ways. So I'll put an 8 1/2 by 11 in like this and really never have to worry about opening out that arm. Isn't that cool? Easy to open, but I'm glad this goes to 6 1/2 inches. Okay, let's talk about the cutting blade itself. I like the blade. The first thing you're going to say is, how do I change the blade? Well, it comes with an extra blade. Remember that. Here's your extra blade. I am not sure if this can be changed. I will do some research and find out, but I feel like the whole housing is what gets replaced. So that's why you got 2 of them. But here's how you do it. Let me put that away so I don't cut myself. This is one thing that for me I don't love, but this is how you do it. You separate these 2 pieces slightly. So you just separate them with your hand like that. I push down on one and lift it up on the other, and then this guy will come right out. So you see that I push down on one and lift it up with the other. And then if I want to place it back in, it's the same motion, and now it's back inside. Okay, so that is how you remove it. So if you want to change out your score blade, let me show you your score blade too. If you want to change out your score blade, you do the same thing. You're going to slightly separate the 2. You'll lift this out, whoops, and not sling it. And then you'll slightly separate, put one side in and the other, and then we're ready to go. Okay, now one thing you might wonder about, and I will let you know right off the bat, you cannot keep these on at the same time if you plan to cut all the way down, okay? Because if I put these on at the same time, and I'll show you that, this one will only go to, what is that mark? 10 inches. It'll only cut to 10 inches because this one's in the way. It's like bumper cars. So they can't be on together. So I do have to take one off when I'm not using it. Now, you know me, I don't use these for scoring. I only use them for trimming. So that's not a deal breaker for me. Now, let me show you something I like that I think is really cool. All right, so let's say I want to cut this piece of paper. I'm going to put my little blade housing at the top. Let's say I want to cut a 3-inch slice into this piece of paper. Notice, I want to move this down so you can see it. Notice on this blade housing that I have these very obvious points, which are so cool. I love this. This makes life easy, okay? So I'm going to take this point to the side and take it to the 3-inch mark and stop. And now I know I have cut a 3-inch slice into my paper. Other trimmers have that feature, but in the past, it's been just kind of like a line or a tick mark, and I love that this has these 4 points to make that so much easier. There are projects where you will need it. All right, let's talk about how well it cuts. Let me show you something. I'm still going to cut from, my bottom to the top because I want this to stop up there at my little ledge at the top. But when you push, I love this, it cuts so nice. It is very nice. It's nice and full. It's easy to use in your hand. The blade itself is a V-shaped blade like I'm used to. If you've seen me use before, it's still a good old V-shaped blade. And what you'll do with this, you'll be able to cut up and down with it because it's kind of two-sided, if that makes sense. So let me just pop this back in here where it goes. And here's what I mean. I'm going to sink this blade in, and now I can go up and I can go down because my blade cuts both directions. Cool, huh? All right, let me show you the back side of the tool because I think this is important too. When you get this home, you're going to notice this is not as sturdy as some of the trimmers you might have held before in this way. See how I can wiggle it like this? But I'm going to show you what they did to overcome that. When you look on the back side, look how many stability points you've got. All of these pieces here are going to be pressing against your work surface. So your machine is going to, this tool is going to be super sturdy. And you even have 6 rubber feet that touch the surface. Okay, so let me put it down here and I'll show you. Even though I could wiggle it in my hand, look how steady that is on my surface. It's not giving in, it's not waving at all because of all of those little feet it has underneath. That is pretty much the trimmer. There may be something I'm missing, but I don't think so. I think it showed you everything I could think of. I really like this trimmer. You're going to start seeing it in videos now because now that I can show you it, I tried it out several weeks ago, but we just got them actually in for us to be able to carry them. And you guys know me. I have to try something before I bring it to you because I want to make sure that I really like it. But I really like this one. I do have another one coming if we can get it in. We're trying to. And they're very comparable. The only difference in the other one, if you're interested, is the housing. The score tool and the cut tool can stay on at the same time. Again, not a deal breaker for me because I use my other scoring tools for that. So that's neither here nor there. But they're very much similar. The other one's not quite as wide either if you're looking for something not so wide. But look at these cool handles. Like, I love that, right? I really like it. Tonic's done a good job with this one. It's different for me because the color, I'm not used to like a gray and blue, but I think I'm really going to enjoy it. All right, guys, that is our Tonic trimmer that we have now in stock. Again, I really like it. I think you will like it, and it's now available. So if you see this one in my videos soon, you'll be like, she got a new trimmer. Now I know. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about this trimmer in the comments below. I'll be happy to test anything out or try anything before you buy it, and I'll let you know. Have a great one, guys. Until next time, bye-bye.